Good afternoon, everyone. This is Brandon again, tuning in to you guys with another Lunch and Learn series. As you guys know, this whole month we've been mainly focusing on increasing your drive, your energy, your focus, and things like that. Of course, these are things we're going to carry throughout the year, not just during these long summer months. But so with that said, keep in mind that all this stuff that we're talking about today can be applied across the board, and they really do relate to the body as a whole. And even though we were talking about that for this, for the theme of this month, this stuff again should be applied, can be applied throughout the entirety of the year. We had some really cool lunch and learns earlier this month. They dealt with terpenes that help with this stuff, cannabinoids that help with this stuff, and we often always go over, once a month, try to do some stuff relating to endogenous endocannabinoids, and again, which are naturally occurring ones within the body. So today is really all about talking about more of those in direction to how they can help increase your drive and focus. So without further ado, let's jump right on into it. Again, these are supposed to be short, sweet, roughly 10 to 15 minutes, something you could watch during your lunch hour. They air right at 12 o'clock, so you have a chance to kind of check these out at your convenience, but at the same time they're short and sweet, and you hopefully gain some cool info during the daytime. So let's go ahead and go, guys. All right, so first things first, what are endogenous endocannabinoids? Well, they're naturally occurring lipids that engage the cannabinoid receptors, which affect the behavior in a fashion that at least partially recapitulates the effects produced by the psychoactive components of cannabis, most notably delta-9 THC. So it might just sound like a little bit of jibber jabber, but let's get into a little bit more. One of the most notable endocannabinoids is anandamide. It's a fatty acid neurotransmitter. It was the very first endocannabinoid to be discovered. It plays a role in the regulation of feeding behavior and the neural generation of motivation and pleasure. So exactly what does that mean and how does this work? Well, again, it's really all about the endocannabinoid system. Without understanding how that works, a lot of these endogenous endocannabinoids really wouldn't make sense to us. So essentially, the ECS is a network of connections, and it's the largest group of neurotransmitters found in the human body itself, made up of cannabinoid receptors, most notably named CB1 and CB2. CB1 receptors correlate to our central nervous system, which is your brain and spinal cord, and the CB2 receptors link to our peripheral nervous system, which are your muscles, your limbs, your skin, immune support, and other organ structures. These receptors become stimulated by receiving these endogenous endocannabinoids. This network of connections is also believed to promote bodily homeostasis by regulating a diverse array of physiological processes such as body temperature, thirst and hunger, sleep, digestion, heart rate, and much more. So ultimately, what does that mean? It means our bodies are equipped with this naturally occurring system, which actually helps regulate the body's homeostasis, which directly affects everything in our body, from sleep to how our mood is throughout the day, how we physically feel. Again, this one's all about drive and motivation, so we want to go into a little bit about how this system as a whole can help affect that. And really, as we learn more about this, it looks like the ECS has very, very much to do with actually regulation of the mood, your drive, your focus, and things like that. So this one's all about, okay, so what do we do about it? So how do we, the ECS that's here, we're already equipped with, so what do we do and how do we actually boost this system? Well, again, this one's all about naturally occurring ways to do so. So we're going to look at, again, it's essentially free, if not easy, very easy ways for you to do this. The very first one we've always loved talking about here, exercise. So exercise such as yoga or stretching, deep breathing, running, jogging, swimming, even sitting in a sauna for, it depends on how long you're in there, but the sweating from that causes heat shock proteins. Also, if you're in there for a decent amount of time, your heart rate will increase, but that's going to actually help promote some of these molecules from being produced. Again, anandamide, that's going to have a huge effect on how you're actually feeling. And if you think about how you ran afterwards, you run, jog, swim, if you've ever been in a sauna for a long period of time and you get out, your mood, a lot of the worries you've had, almost it's not that they disappeared, but it's almost as if like you kind of can brush them right off and you're seeing them from a different point of view. The reason why, your body is now equipped with possibly more serotonin, you might have more dopamine, so you're feeling better, you're motivated. And again, what's actually driving this? A lot of it's believed to be the endocannabinoid system itself. What else do we have? Diet. So things such as omega-3 fatty acids or proteins such as hemp. So and dark leafy greens are just several of the things you can consume daily to continue to boost this system. In general, when you hemp protein as a whole, it's actually a complete protein source. So it contains all 9 essential amino acids, and it contains a perfect balance of omega-3 to 6 fatty acids. That's very hard to come by. It's actually a more efficient ratio than fish itself. But keep in mind that hemp protein as a whole, we do love talking about cannabis here, obviously, but so hemp protein as a whole, it's got all essential amino acids. It has a perfect balance of omega-3 to 6. It contains fiber. It contains a lot of different compounds that actually do really help with, again, the regulation of the system. It's a complete protein source. I know I keep saying that, but that's a big deal, especially if you're a vegetable eater out there or you don't consume meat, things like that. Hemp is an awesome way to kind of fuel your system. Aside from that, we also spoke again like dark leafy greens, so things such as kale, spinach, asparagus, broccoli, things like that contain a huge amount of fiber and just antioxidants and things like that to basically allow your body to again have this, using this fuel. If you can eat this stuff raw, which sometimes obviously might not taste the best, but look at food as being fuel more so than just something you want to desire and eat. Of course, there are times when you're going to want to consume that, and it is going to be something that you're looking for more of a desirable effect, but at the same time, food as a whole, let's look at it as fuel, because if we're trying to get a desirable outcome such as more drive, focus, energy, then we really want to start redefining this stuff a little bit differently. Last but not least, of course, is sleep. I sometimes think sleep is very underestimated. A proper night's rest is critical for your hormone production, and it plays a direct role in regulating your ECS. Roughly people say aim for at least 6.5 hours, although 8 may be best. A proper night's sleep really does help you, and you can tell in the morning. Often, your mind's a little bit more clear, you have more focus, your drive might be a little bit stronger. Of course, it's a double-edged sword. Sometimes you might feel like you slept too much, but as a whole general rule, if you can get a proper night's sleep, which means you're thinking about trying to put food in your body before you go to bed, try to go to sleep with your morning's task already ironed out. You know what you're doing, so you don't have this anxiety when you're sleeping. But as a whole, sleeping, diet, exercise, 3 things that you have really strong control of every single day will play a direct role in again how your body can actually regulate itself, and and again creating these natural endocannabinoids. That's going to be some of the main ways to actually do that. And again, this is going to help with your focus, your drive, the clarity itself, and just your physical energy. So from Peninsula Wellness, what is it that we can actually do to help? Well, of course, aside from offering CBD, which we didn't get into, but consuming CBD, of course, can have a huge, strong effect on this stuff. At the same time, we also have the ability to, we have these classes that you can attend. We're going to start doing some more in-person stuff. We have virtual classes you can do for now. We do try to network you guys with some really awesome people in town, such as, again, Brandon Hudson with SBY MMA. We've brought on dietitians and things like that. If you see some stuff we've done with holistics, we've even done stuff in regards to working with a pastor in the area. So that's just getting your mind right, your spiritual body right. But as a whole, what can we do? We're just here as a source to basically communicate and be able to give you this education, this information, to connect you with other networks within the area to help kind of, again, equip you with the tools to be able to succeed in this. So, of course, Peninsula Alternative Health, we have the ability to actually, you can go downstairs, become a medical cannabis patient, and receive some really awesome, products and things like that. Peninsula Wellness, we're here to, give you, whether it's, more natural supplements, and so such as CBD, even iron and things like that. We do have vitamins and stuff. But CBD, we're huge in. But keep in mind, we do have these consultations and stuff, so you're actually not going to be left in the dark. You have the ability to sit down with one of our patient services team members and actually sit down and kind of give them your overall goals and your desires, and hopefully it's something we can help you with, whether again it's a CBD regimen, dosing protocols, stuff like that, or again just connecting you with a network of people that we know in the area. That's something that we're here to really do. We have some really cool stuff coming out over the next month or so. We have with a bunch of stuff in regards to holistics, and you can see how some of those products have dramatically helped people. For example, I just brought up the pastor that I spoke about, but Martin Hutchinson, he's a huge proponent of our CBD here. You'll see that he actually was diagnosed with the shingles virus, which he received from Lyme's disease, and it seemed like almost nothing would help it. Of course, prescription medication made it worse. I shouldn't say of course, but in his case it did. He did do things such as acupuncture, massage therapy, which did help. But at the end of the day, the CBD, taking that routinely as a supplement, really dramatically decreased the inflammation in some of his target and problematic areas. In his case, his ankle joints. So, For him, it was really about trying to decrease the inflammation before he could really get to the exercise. I know sometimes if you're in pain, exercise may seem like the last thing you want or need to do, but depending on your injury, depending on your pain point, it actually might be the exact thing you need. So usually when you have tight legs, tight joints, it's harder to move, but if you actually move those joints, they do loosen up, you do increase the blood flow, you do increase the oxygen, and you're actually decreasing inflammation just by doing so. At the end of the day, what you put in your body again as fuel is going to dramatically affect how that exercise that you're performing, how it's actually working. So if you're loading your body up with empty carbs, you worked out, you consume no protein afterwards, then what you're doing is you're kind of basically making a few steps forward, possibly a few steps back. So you really want to look at everything as a whole and play the system as a whole and think not just about your cannabis use, your physical, what you're doing physically, but how you're thinking emotionally, mentally, spiritually every single day. And again, connecting all this stuff sometimes can be difficult, but we have a really cool podcast coming out with Brandon Hudson again from SBY MMA. Him and our CEO Anthony Darby talk about some really cool stuff. They're in their late 30s, early 40s, and they just talk about how the transition of what they either had to go through mentally, again, physically, spiritually, or emotionally, in order to get to where they're at and their age that they're at in order to keep going. So again, this episode is really all about clarity, drive, and focus. And ultimately, that's what a lot of us want to be able to have. To get through our day, to be able to actually stay motivated. A lot of us have very demanding lives, and it looks like with how life is right now, it definitely seems a little bit more sometimes difficult than what it has been with all the stuff that's going on in the world. But again, we're here to help try to equip you with these tools, and repeat it one more time: exercise, diet, and sleep. If you eat right, you'll have better sleep. If you exercise, you'll have better sleep. If you have better sleep, you make better choices to eat better. You might have more energy to sleep better. So it all connects. And again, this directly relates to your endocannabinoid system, will help boost that. And at the end of the day, if you are a medical cannabis patient of ours, and if you're not taking advantage of these various things I spoke about, then you are possibly using cannabis more than you may need to. Because again, your body is equipped with this stuff to want to be able to produce some of these hormones naturally. And that's the whole intent of this Lunch and Learn, was to be able to give you some real quick, again, so we've gone over this stuff before, these three talking points. And again, the exercise, diet, and sleep. But that's very critical as a whole, to just kind of hammer in, keep remembering that this is something that you need to think about every single day. If this is something that you're actually looking to long-term boost, it's not something that every now and then you're kind of looking to work into. But again, if you do this stuff routinely, it becomes a habit. A habit eventually becomes a lifestyle, and then eventually you don't even think about it. You're just eating greens, you're just sleeping better, and you're exercising every single day. And it's not really, now it's no longer taking energy from you, because it's something that you've adopted and it's became part of your lifestyle. So just like I said, that this is something, again, we're going to continue to hammer home, because we want to drive this as an actual lifestyle decision that you can make. And that's something that we're here to basically, hope be able to show that we're doing as well. So guys, again, thank you for tuning into this Lunch and Learn. Again, it was short and sweet, roughly 10 to 15 minutes. Next month we have something awesome. It's going to be our very first in-person Lunch and Learn that we've done almost essentially since the pandemic. As you guys may or may not know, we opened up this facility during the heat and the heart of the pandemic. So the community room that we had, unfortunately, has never really been utilized to its fullest potential. So we've done a lot of virtual stuff, which is awesome. But now, we're looking forward to getting people back in there. So you can expect next month we're going to have a Lunch and Learn in person. We're going to continue to do these virtually as well. But I really look forward to that, to be able to bring some more people in-house and to be able to offer them this type of stuff, again, in person. So we can communicate a little bit more. You guys can ask questions. We can speak further. And all in all, you can have a chance to check out the facility if you haven't done so. If you're a patient of ours, this might be some really cool stuff as a way for you guys to interact with the other patients. If you're not a patient of ours, you just want to check it out, this is free to the public, so keep that in mind. Head to PeninsulaMD.com, wellness.PeninsulaMD.com specifically to see the events calendar, but PeninsulaMD.com will take you to all the networks of our pages, Holistics, Wellness, and Alternative Health. And again, guys, I'm Brandon. I'm grateful for what I get to do every single day. We'll see you all. I don't think we're doing one next week. We do 4 of these a month. There's 5 Wednesdays of this month, so we'll see you at the beginning of July. Other than that, guys, thanks again, and we'll see you next week. Take care.